In the next section we have the rotary encoders. The default setting is that we get the scribble strip above the rotary encoders, which has a shortened version of the track name and a readout of the fader level. The rotary encoder will be the pan, and as you move it, it will then flip and show you numerically whether the pan is to the left and how much, or to the right and how much. You also get a readout crudely on the ring of LEDs around the rotary encoder as well. Below that you've got an input button and a record ready button too. This little section is also useful because you can change its purpose. You'll notice above there are insert and send buttons, which you might just be able to make out. If a send has already been set up on a channel, and you can do this from the control surface, but that's a bit advanced for now, the send button will be lit, showing there is a send available on this channel. And by pressing the send button that is lit on this particular channel 2, for example, then we'll see that the scribble strip changes its function and is now dedicated to this channel, and is showing us on this control the main pan for the channel, which I can still alter left and right. But now we have our send level, so we can alter send level right down to mute up to full level, so that could be our reverb level, for example, or delay level. So it's easier to control here than it is on screen. Plus, if you are automating the send level for adding more reverb in the chorus or adding echo on particular words, for example, then it's easier to do that using this kind of control on the desk. And you have other controls. If there's more than one send, which are off the screen for you at the moment, they will appear all on the desk. So you can actually control all the sends that are available on that channel across the rotary encoders. At the top of the channel strips, we have buttons for EQ and dynamics. These are useful if an EQ or dynamic plugin has been already inserted on the channel. Then these buttons will light up. What that means is you can then use the rotary encoders to make adjustments to those plugins. So for example, on this channel 2 here, I've got both an EQ and a dynamics plugin available. By pressing on the EQ button, you notice the scribble strip changes from being all the track names to being all the various parameters, and this actually is extending right across the board now for all the EQ settings, for the frequency, gain and bandwidth, etc., and even the individual ins and outs for the sections of the EQ. Or if I hit the dynamics button, which is also lit, then I get the dynamics parameters on rotary encoders, which obviously is more like operating a piece of hardware now. Plus, because all these parameters are automatable in Pro Tools, once that's been set up, then it makes it easier to adjust things like the EQ sweep, for example, as an automated parameter, or possibly some dynamics thresholds, for example. And then pressing them again gets you back to your normal default readout on the scribble strip. Above that, you've got the automation select button, which toggles around the various modes. So normally it comes up in default read mode, but then you can just press the button and it will drop into write, touch, latch modes for you to then do automating and writing of levels, sends, mutes, etc. to the track. At the very top we have, this is actually hardware control over the preamplifiers that comes in this particular control surface. So we've got gain controls, we've got a source and a high pass filter button where we can toggle around, and each one of these has a clip light to check that you've not got too high gain on the actual input. It's worth just mentioning that even though the inputs are effectively in line with the channel strips, there is no physical connection between these two sections. These are merely preamps that are available on the patch bay that can then be patched into the appropriate inputs and recorded to whatever channel or track you want to on Pro Tools. Just off to the left, it's worth mentioning the auto enables buttons. These are labelled volume, send level, pan, send pan, mute, send mute, suspend and plugin. These all need to be lit if those particular types of parameters are going to be automatable. So if you want to, for example, write all your volume levels and then make sure you don't accidentally overwrite volume levels as you're doing other things, you could automate all your volume level sends on your faders, then press the volume button which disables volume. You can then be sure that as you're writing other parameters, that the volume parameters are not going to be overwritten accidentally.